guys, today we are talking about the first nation on earth that is actually coming up with an answer for the AI voice. You'll watch it here on HAX Labs. Hey guys, I'm glad you joined us today. I hope you'll enjoy this episode today about Japan. If you do like it, hit the subscribe button. We definitely want you to comment. Give us your thoughts. Also, if you think you like this channel, can learn from it, go ahead and subscribe. And most importantly, share this message with others. Okay, let's get started. So on August 8th, this just happened. Japan's Ministry of Justice published something that changes how AI cloning of a voice actually works there. This is in that country. They didn't pass a new law to do it. They didn't need to. What they did was quietly close a door that's been sitting around for decades. And it's open in almost every country I've talked about on this channel. And I want to talk about exactly what they did there. And why I think this fight matters more to our own actors in the United States, in Canada. We have now AI voice characters from Australia and other places. And even though it happened 7,000 miles away, here's what actually happened. And I'm going to read this here from my computer. A Ministry of Justice study group made up of law professors and IP lawyers met 5 separate times between April and July of this year. Their job was to look at Japan's existing law and answer one question. And I think this is important for everyone to hear. Does a person's voice already qualify for legal protection? Their answer was yes, under 2 doctrines already on the books. Now, this is what's crazy about this. It's already on their books, okay? The first is the right of publicity. It protects a voice because its commercial value, its power to draw an audience to them, okay? Something that somebody finds important. The second is personality rights. Now, I'm going to read this. It protects a voice because it's tied to a real person's identity and reputation, which means using it requires the person's actual consent. This isn't new legislation there. It's a formal legal interpretation of law Japan already had. Like I'd mentioned, it was been sort of talked about for decades. But it now stands as real precedent, something actors and their lawyers can point to in an actual civil case. This is called the seiyuu factor. Now, this seiyuu, here's what that means exactly. And if you don't follow anime or Japanese voice work or gaming, that might genuinely surprise you. This definitely hits differently in Japan. In most of the world, voice acting is anonymous work, right? You hear it, but you never connect the person. Now, if you're James Earl Jones, we all know that's Darth Vader. If you are some of those types of well-known actors with voices, you connect it. But think back to who do you really think of as a voice actor who's an everyday voice actor? It's different in Japan. It's not how it works. Voice actors there are called, I'm going to say seiyuu, aren't background. I'm going to spell it actually, S-E-I-Y-U-U. Sorry, my Japanese friends, if I'm not saying this correctly. They're not background talent there. Many of them are the full-blown pop artists, stars in their country. They release albums. They chart on the actual music charts. They sell out arenas. These are super. I'm sure some of you guys watching listen to their music. Shina Hikiru sold out of Budokan. Budokan is one of the Japanese legendary concert venues. Did it 2 years running. Nana, and I probably didn't say that right, Nana or Nana Mizuki has topped the Japanese charts as a recording artist while working in full-time voiceover work. And Masako Nozama has voiced Goku. Now, my kids love this. Growing up, my boys loved Dragon Ball Z since the 1980s. And it's a voice recognized by hundreds of millions of people in a franchise that's genuinely global. Now, we know that in America. We've heard from Frozen. There's artists that play the parts. Amy Adams has probably played parts. I think she played one recently. people have done this. Amy McAdams, can't remember her name, but people do this in the United States as well. We have more of a world of the secret voice actors. So, by the way, check this out. They actually have, in their country of Japan, the seiyuu award running every year since 2007, and people compare it to the Oscars. Because in Japan, that's not an exaggeration. So when you talk about cloning a voice actor's voice in Japan without consent, you're not cloning some anonymous read. You're cloning a national celebrity's actual identity. The stakes were never abstract there. Now, I don't want to skip past who actually made this happen. It wasn't handed down out of nowhere, okay? Once again, back to a document I've got in front of me. The Japan Actors Union has been publishing for this since 2023, when this technology first started getting real public attention. In 2025, they went further than advocacy. They partnered with major Japanese corporations to build an actual database of actors' recorded voices, specifically to lay the groundwork for real IP protections. Years of organizing, not a lucky break. We have great organizations such as Tim Freelander with NAVA out there working hard to get us justified and get us recognized. The reality is that it's hard to get it done in the US and not just here in other countries. So in Japan, when the guidelines came out, the union released a statement welcoming them. Not fighting them, welcoming them. They said they're not opposed to AI voices in principle. What they're asking for is fair distribution of benefits, transparency, and respect for consent. Everything that we ask for in the US. Say that back to yourself. Okay, ready? Fair benefit sharing, transparency, and consent. That's not a rejection of the technology. That's just asking to be treated like a person instead of a resource. One part of this, which is still generally unresolved, and it's worth naming honestly instead of glossing over it. Personality rights generally end when a person dies, but the guidelines leave the door open for heirs to file a claim based on persevering reverence for a deceased performer's memory. Recently, we saw that in the United States when I believe it was one of the major platforms, might be 11 Labs, Cartesia, Deepgram, I'm not sure which one, but they got the approval from the heir of Willy Wonka, the guy who played Willy Wonka, and were able to use his voice. But they got consent, and that's the key. Where's the gray area? Let's talk about that. One part of this is still genuinely unresolved. We talked about the death, right? So one of the things I want to talk about is even Japan's own government isn't fully sure yet what happens to a voice after the person passes away. Who owns it after it's gone? That's the same open question sitting underneath a lot of what's happening in the industry lately. And this time written down by government instead of argued about online. So this didn't all happen in a vacuum, okay? Hollywood actors went on strike back in 2023, partly over exactly this. German actors boycotted Netflix over AI dubbing this past February. And different countries, different unions, different languages, same fight over and over. What's different about Japan is they found the answer sitting inside law they already had. They didn't need a legislature to agree on something brand new. They needed someone willing to read the existing laws seriously enough to apply it in their circumstance. So what does this mean for the voice actor? Here's why I'm actually wanting to bring this one up to you this week. Most of you aren't working under Japanese law, and I'm not going to pretend this protects you directly. It doesn't. But go back to what the union actually asked for: fair benefit sharing, transparency, consent. Okay? That's the exact list I built HAX Labs around before any government agency came in and anywhere they told me what to do. Here's my honest take, and it's personal for me. I've been a voice actor. I've done commercials. I've done channels. I've been narrators of shows. And here's where I stand with all of this. When I started building HAX Labs, I wasn't trying to create just another AI platform. I wanted to build a community. I wanted a place where real voice actors could actually own their voice characters, actually see how it's used, and actually get paid every single time, not once, and then never again. I recently heard about someone who sold the likeness of their voice to a company. It was a relatively good amount of money, but it was one time, never to be paid again. And we don't believe that here at HAX Labs. Unlike Japanese seiyuu, most of the actors working with us will never sell out in an arena. They don't have national fan base or their name in headlines. That's just the reality of the country this size. America's too big, and voice work here has always been, for the most part, anonymous work. Most of our actors will never be famous. I know that, and I think that's exactly why this matters more and not less. Let me just say, because fame and recognition were the only thing that came from protecting someone's voice, most of the people I work with would never see any benefit to any of this. So we built something that doesn't depend on becoming a celebrity to be treated fairly. We have one actor in a single month. Her voice characters have generated thousands of dollars per month, passively across 4 unique characters. Nobody outside this industry knows her name. She's never going to sell out the Budokan, I think that's how we said it. But she owns her voice. She knew exactly how it would be used, and she gets paid every time the marketplace or HAX Labs through the vault uses it. That's not charity. That's not a favor. Actors never pay us a dime to be part of this. That's just what fair looks like, okay? Built into the business from day one. We built the exact thing that Japanese unions spent years fighting a government to get written down. Fair sharing, real transparency, and consent that actually means something. So, we didn't invent this idea. Japan didn't invent this idea. I think the reality is it's just what is the right thing to do. And we speak a lot about that here. We're a biblically based company with believing in fairness, integrity, and honor. In Japan, they didn't invent the idea, but they proved you don't need new legislation to make it real. You need people willing to organize. And in our case, a company willing to build it way from the start instead of waiting to be forced to do something. Somewhere in Japan right now, a voice actor has something on paper they didn't have 2 weeks ago. Not because a company decided to be generous, because they organized and somebody in power finally read the law seriously enough to agree with it. Here, it's a little different. Our actors don't need a government to catch up. They already have, in writing from day one. That's what this is supposed to look like. That's what we're building. So I'm Hank Groff. This is HAX Labs, and we'll see you next time. And don't forget, make sure you subscribe. See you soon.